a lot of no offense, like a lot of Christians, they take like a lot of things in the Quran and they try to spin it to make it look a lot worse than they actually are without context in these things.
Okay. In which context is it okay to beat your wife? Which context?
No, I'm gonna get to it. It's less so in the context and like when it's okay and when it's not okay to do it, but it's more so in how you're allowed to, right? So in the Quran, when Allah talks about beating your wife, the scholars and everyone is all in agreement on that. When Allah talks about this, He's talking more in a metaphorical sense, right? So He says when you hit your wife, it's more of a symbolic thing. It's not supposed to be something that leaves a mark.
Where do you get that from, that verse?
Jesus. Do you like to say ex-Muslim? Ask Jesus.
Where do you get that from, that verse? Focus.
That's the hate. End them.
Yeah.
Just stay with me, man. Stay with me.
They are racist.
So where do you get that from, that verse, though?
They hate Muslims. You motherfuckers.
Calm down, brother.
They hate. Move that. Ex-Muslim. What do you mean? No. No. It's fine with you now.
This is New York. All right, I'm just gonna put this over here.
Man, it's fucking Jesus.
Go ahead.
Okay,
So say what you have to say, and then I want to read the verse like together.
Yeah. No, I know the verse you're referring to, but
Yeah.
I'm talking about the scholarly opinion. Most scholars they would say that when Allah is referring to these things, that she's saying it's more of in a symbolic sense. So,
Which scholar says this?
sorry,
Which scholar says this?
the majority is. I mean, honestly,
Do you have one?
I don't have like the notes or anything on my phone. This is just off of my head.
Do you have your phone on you? Can you pull one up?
I do, yeah. But
Okay.
It's more so.
I want to see who said that, when, and what the context is, right?
Yeah.
If it's symbolic, you're saying.
Yeah.
So symbolically hit her? Is that what you're saying? They're
talking
saying?
about more so that when you do it, it shouldn't leave a mark. Like there's guidelines.
It should not leave a mark?
It shouldn't leave a mark.
You sure you want to go with that one?
Yeah, this is what I was taught, right?
Okay.
I could be wrong. Correct me. If
Okay, sure.
This is my understanding, what I was taught. What
Yes,
I
yes.
learned, right? Now, do I have all the answers to everything? Of course not. I'm not claiming to be a scholar. I'm just an everyday Muslim. I go upon my day. I don't go around beating women or anything. I wouldn't go ahead and just beat my wife.
Okay, so I just want to read the verse so we're on the same page, okay? So look, the Surah Al-Nisa, ayah 34. Men are in charge of women by what Allah has given one over the other and what they spend for maintenance from their wealth. So righteous women are devoutly obedient. Guarding in absence anything in parentheses is not in the Arabic, so that's why I'm skipping the words in brackets. Guarding in absence what Allah would have them guard. But those wives from whom you fear arrogance. So let's see here, the Arabic here. You fear ill conduct. Ill conduct or disobedience.
What app is this? Is it?
It's the Quran.com, man.
Oh, okay.
Quran.com. So, but those wives from whom you fear arrogance, first, so there's steps, right? Stages. First, advise them. Then forsake them in bed. Says don't sleep in the same bed. Then strike them. Remember, lightly is not in the Arabic. It just says strike them, beat them.
If I search this real quick, I just
Yeah.
want to see.
And then it says, but if they obey you, seek no means against them if they obey you. So this is an obedience, disobedience issue. That's the context. Now, you said that a scholar or scholars, majority of scholars, I think you said, say that this is talking about
Which
Surah 434. You said most scholars say that this is symbolic. But I'm going to show you a hadith where we do see a bruise, a stain. You said as long as it doesn't leave a bruise mark. Is that what you said or no?
yeah.
Okay. So let me show you. Let me show you a hadith where a woman was beat so bad her skin turned green. Are you familiar with this hadith or no?
I am not, no sir.
Okay, I'll give you the reference. Sahih Bukhari 5825. Sahih Bukhari 5825. Narrated Ikrimah Rifa divorced his wife, whereupon Abdurrahman bin Az-Zubair al-Qurazi married her. Aisha said that the lady came wearing a green veil and complained to Aisha, of her husband and showed her a green spot on her skin caused by beating. It was the habit of ladies to support each other, so when Allah's messenger came, Aisha said, I have not seen any woman suffering as much as the believing woman. Aisha said, I have not seen any woman suffering as much as the believing woman. Look, her skin is greener than her clothes.
Okay.
So that's one example.
Is there any more to that, or it just ends there?
You can go on sunnah.com and read the whole thing.
Yeah. Once again, I think the important thing is context.
Oh man, in which context is it okay for you to support wife beating?
Right, what was said after that? What was said before that? Right? Like, you can't just start anything. Like, you don't just open a book and just start in the middle of. If you're reading a non-fictional book or a fictional book, you don't just start in the middle.
Okay, this is sunnah.com. You want to read the whole thing?
Or you can skim.
So yeah, I read the beginning. I stopped right about here. Look, her skin is greener than her clothes. When Abdurrahman heard that his wife had gone to the Prophet, so it actually gets worse. Check this out, look. When Abdurrahman heard that his wife had gone to the Prophet, he came with his 2 sons from another wife. She said, by Allah, I have done no wrong to him, but he is impotent and is as useless to me as this, holding and showing a fringe of a garment. Abdurrahman said, by Allah, O Allah's messenger, she has told a lie. I am very strong and can satisfy her, but she is disobedient and wants to go back to Rifa. So that's why she got what she got. Allah's messenger said to her, if that is your intention, then know that it is unlawful for you to remarry Rifa unless Abdurrahman has had sexual intercourse with you. Then the Prophet saw 2 boys with Abdurrahman and asked him, are these your sons? On that, Abdurrahman said, yes. The Prophet said, you claim what you claim, i.e. that he is impotent, but by Allah, these boys resemble him as a crow resembles a crow. So Muhammad doesn't rebuke the man. He doesn't say, do not do that again. He just dismisses it completely.
Did he like say not to get like a divorce, or did I read that wrong?
That's it. That's it.
What's Rifa?
That's the man.
Oh, okay.
That's the former husband, the first husband. You want to read again, or?
Yeah, I just.
Sorry, which word? What are you reading right now? So
no, I'm just like going over it because.
Yeah.
I mean, you read it, but you take it better when you read it yourself.
Yeah, go for it. Yeah. You want to read it from the beginning or what?
Yeah, you don't mind if I just go
Yeah,
through,
can you read it out loud though? So I can follow along?
Rifa divorced his wife, whereupon Abdurrahman bin Az-Zubair, wearing a green veil, complained to Aisha, and the husband showed her a green spot and skin caused by bleeding. It was the habit of the ladies to support the other. Aisha said, I have not seen anyone.
So basically, the wife said that Abdurrahman is useless.
Yeah.
He can't satisfy her, right? And then he says, no, I'm very strong, and I can satisfy her.
Yep.
And then and the wife wants to go back to Rifa.
Okay.
And when Muhammad heard what had happened, here's the problem. It actually, for you to say read the rest of it, I stopped at a certain point.
Yeah.
But the rest of it is actually worse because Muhammad doesn't say anything to protect her, to protect her.
Yeah.
Right? To teach them, look, this is not the way of God.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So Paul says to love your wife as you nourish your own body, you should love your wife.
Yeah.
Marriage is two becoming one flesh.
Mm-hmm.
That's what marriage is biblically. So you become one.
Yeah.
One in marriage, one in unity, one in every sense. Christ died for us, and we should also sacrifice ourselves for our wife. To be gentle, it says to be gentle, for she is the weaker vessel. That's what the Bible says.
Yep.
To be gentle with her. But this right here, this should just make you want to leave Islam.
It doesn't.
This alone, it doesn't?
No, because I mean,
I showed you Muhammad himself, man, agreeing with wife beating. He doesn't disagree with it.
There certainly wasn't any agreeing. He didn't say, "Oh, this is great."
Did he disagree with it? Did he say it's bad?
Not in that hadith. I don't see anything.
Okay, now let me show you Muhammad beating up Aisha, striking her on the chest. This is Sahih Muslim book 4, hadith number 2127. Aisha said, and we can read the whole thing, "He struck me on the chest, which caused me pain, and then said, 'Did you think that Allah and His Apostle would deal unjustly with you?'"
Okay.
Now, if you want to read the context, we can go there. I can show you another place where you see wife beating and Muhammad does nothing about it. This is Sunnah an-Nasai 3964. Again, Aisha said, "Shall I not tell you about the Prophet and I?" We said, "Yes." She said, when it was my night when he, meaning the Prophet, was with me, he came in, placed his shoes on his feet, laid down his rida, his upper garment, and spread the edge of his izar, his lower garment, on his bed. As soon as he thought that I had gone to sleep, he put his shoes on slowly and picked up his rida slowly. Then he opened the door slowly, went out and shut it slowly. I put my garment over my head, covered myself, and put on my izar, a lower garment, and I set out after him. So she chased him after him until he came to al-Baqi, raised his hands 3 times and stood there for a long time. Then he left and I left, he hurried and I hurried, he ran and I ran, and I got there before him and entered the house. So she's back now. I had only just laid down when he came in and said, "Oh, Aisha." So he's asking her, "Why are you out of breath?" She said, "No." He said, "Either you tell me or Allah, the all-aware, all-knowing, will tell me." I said, "O Messenger of Allah, may my father, my mother be sacrificed for you." And I told him the story. He said, "You were the black shape I saw in front of me?" So he kind of saw something chasing him, right? I said, "Yes." She said, "He gave me a shove in the chest that hurt me and said, 'You thought that Allah and His Messenger would be unfair to you?' She said, 'Whatever people conceal, Allah knows it.' He said, 'Yes.' He said, 'Jibreel came to me when you saw me leave.'" So Muhammad saying, "Jibreel came to me when you saw me leave, but he did not enter upon you because you have taken off your garments." The whole story is just kind of messed up, man. "So he called me, but he concealed himself from you. And I answered him, 'But I concealed it from you. I thought that you had gone to sleep, and I did not want to wake you, and I was afraid that you would feel lonely.'" I don't want to read the whole thing, man. It's, like you can finish it off. So basically, Aisha follows him. He gets mad. He strikes her on the chest.
Okay.
Right? And it's not the first time.
Which part did it say that in this area? I say there's a lot. Like it's hard to like follow.
Yeah. So Sunnah an-Nasai 3964. So when right here. So it says. So he asked her, "You were the black shape I saw in front of me?"
Okay.
And she says, "Yes." She said. So Aisha said, "He gave me a shove in the chest that hurt me, and said, 'You thought Allah and His Messenger would be unfair to you?'" Okay. So like he hit her right there, right then and there.
I mean, I don't know if I'm understanding this.
Yeah.
But was that like
the Hadith and the Quran is hard to understand, man. Trust me, man.
Like, no, I'm talking about was that before he understood? Because he said like you were the black thing, meaning he didn't know that was her. So that was.
Well, then he says Jibreel revealed it to him.
Okay.
He says he kind of already knew, but yeah.
He doesn't say I kind of already. He said that you were asking a question, like as in other words, he didn't know it was her, right?
Yeah, but once he asked her,
"Yep,
was that you?" and she admits, "Yes, it was me," then he struck her. She struck her on the chest.
Struck, or like more of like a gentle shove?
He doesn't say gentle shove, man. He shoved her, and then elsewhere he struck me. It says.
Okay.
These are Sahih Hadiths, man. Sahih Muslim. I'm not making it up, man. You have all the references.
I'm not saying you're making it up.
Yeah, I'm not saying you are. I'm just saying to you that this is not something I'm making up.
Yep.
Right. So women are being beat left and right. Their skins are turning green. Muhammad doesn't do anything about it. There's a part where there's a hadith where her dad beats her and Muhammad does nothing about it. Abu Bakr strikes her and he does nothing about it. And they're married at this point. Okay, I need to pause the video for just a moment and read this hadith out loud. This is narrated Aisha from Sahih Bukhari 6845. Abu Bakr, this is her father, came towards me and struck me violently with his fist and said, "You have detained the people because of your necklace." But I remained motionless as if I was dead, lest I should awake Allah's messenger, although that hit was very painful. Now, Muslims love to say, oh, you know, the Quran says to lightly hit your wife, to discipline her lightly, gently. But Aisha's own words are, the hit was very painful. And then in the previous hadith that I read this gentleman, in Sahih Muslim, Aisha said that Muhammad struck me on the chest, which caused me pain. Such great and prime and excellent examples these men are to all humanity. Subhanallah. So I can show you multiple hadiths.
Yeah, I'm sure you have them like all in your arsenal.
Yeah.
But what about all the good hadiths? What about all the good hadiths? When
We're talking about initially we were talking about how the Bible and the Quran contradict.
Yeah.
And not just on a salvation issue, but even red flags in the Quran. You say, give me one red flag, I gave you the wife beating. So, I mean, the poison, you can have 1% poison in 99% of water, it'll still affect you, if not kill you. By the way, guys, I just want to add that this gentleman and I ended up talking a little bit more off camera about the gospel and the Trinity and the deity of Christ. So it wasn't just polemics. I did share some truth from the Bible and the gospel to him.